Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. This is Rue Phillips, and I'm going to be going through our annual report for Baby Banana, looking at the year 2017. This is the first time doing a screencast like this, so bear with me as I talk through this. I hope to be not too long-winded and maybe provide some clarity that is difficult to see just by looking at the slides on your own. This next slide basically just shows the various topics that I would like to cover in the presentation. So we'll go through each of these one at a time. The first topic is personnel. I've had lots of questions about who's employed in the company, so I kind of wanted to list that out here. I won't read everybody's names here, but you can see who's actual employees in Baby Banana, and some are full-time and some are part-time positions, and Reed and Sandra Phillips are currently 100% owners of Baby Banana, and then the four officer positions with Reed and Sandra constitute our executive team in the company. The second slide on personnel kind of illustrates a few of the most recent hires, so I've separated them out to highlight them. Kristen Phillips was recently offered a position and she accepted, acting as an executive assistant for our team. We have monthly executive meetings, and she's going to be attending those to help keep minutes and track agendas and things like that to help us stay organized. Then we have, we all were given, or a lot of us have seen an advisory board book that Reed and Sandra handed out, and reading that and having attended several family business conferences, and then just seeing the need to facilitate growth and progress within the company, we felt it was important to bring in some outside advisors. So we've created an advisory board. Typically you'd want like a completely disinterested third-party professional, and we still want that, but we also felt like it was important to kind of ease into the advisory board concept first with a couple of family members, a couple of my siblings that are less involved or not involved in the day-to-day business of Baby Banana. So Spencer and JJ made a lot of sense to try this concept out at first. Spencer is local and can rather easily travel to and from meetings. JJ's more distant, but due to his involvement already in mom and dad's finances, and he's really already acting as an advisor to them, so we just thought it would make it would be prudent to have him more directly involved in the understanding of the business that mom and dad own. Apart from these reasons, JJ and Spencer would also increase the voice and concern, if there is, that might come from family members that aren't currently employed by Baby Banana. Assuming this concept works out and we like how it goes, and we hope it will work out, we could potentially look at adding a disinterested third-party professional with probably a business background to help guide the company further. But we don't really have a timeline for this expansion. We'll see how it goes with JJ and Spencer for several months, and kind of reevaluate at that point, and we'll just do what makes sense when it makes sense. Here in this next slide is our business strategy. You could call it our 5-year plan. And I'll read these. They're short kind of statements that will be guiding Baby Banana and our decision making over the near future. So first, we want to focus on child oral care. That has been our focus, and we think that there is more to focus in that category. We wanted a financial metric in this business strategy, and a goal of 15% revenue growth we think is a stretch goal for us, but one that is reachable. So we've put that down. There are a couple of funds that we feel would be important and prudent to establish that we do not currently have. One is a rainy day fund, and one is an internal line of credit, so we can avoid relying on the banks and debt to operate. We want to continue to maximize our baby banana branding and marketing, and our team has done a fantastic job of that in the last year, and I'll get into more details on that, and there's still room for exploring that in the near future. And then as far as growth, there are a couple ways that we hope to continue to grow. There are more ways than this, but the two that we are giving focus on: first, expanding into untapped markets. Primarily the markets are, we could look at markets as domestic market and foreign markets. Domestically, it could be going into places that we are not currently in, such as pharmacies. Foreign, there could be lots of growth in foreign markets and countries that we aren't at all in. And also growing by new products. And I'll get into more about the product development later on as well. So as I mentioned, we'll talk a little bit about marketing. Some interesting stats, so I'd like to read these. And we've had a real focus this last year on social media marketing, and cut back quite significantly on print advertising. And so our Facebook page growth was quite substantial last year. At the beginning of the year, we were around 3,000 likes for our page, and we're now over 16,000 likes. So quite a lot in just 2017. So you can see that it's been about 12 or 13,000 new page likes in the last year. And in 2016, less than 1,000. So great job there. Our Facebook ads are seen constantly every day, and we've reached millions of people through our Facebook advertising and Instagram advertising. And there's a little example of one of our Instagram ads on the right there. So lots of work being done there. A lot of help with Natalie, Chad, and Annie on this marketing effort. Other marketing efforts, we've really pushed to upgrade our website. I've gone back to pull a few homepage screenshots from years past. I can go back further, but this is 2008 is the first where we started advertising banana brushes or things like that. So our website now, we've dropped the brush, and we're now baby-banana.com. And for the first time, we're able to sell directly to consumers. A consumer can go to the website and just buy a single product, and we can ship it to them. And we've also set it up so that vendors,
use your iPhone to search the web for able to sell directly to.
Apparently Siri wants to help me sell bananas. So vendors can jump in and create an account and register and order wholesale online as well. And that part is in the process of rolling out this month and next month. So we've got a nice fresh new look and a live feed to Instagram. So lots of improvements there, and we're excited about that. Also, marketing updates. Our trade show booth has gone through quite an evolution. Back in 2015, you can see our pop-up banners. 2016, we had those nice kind of woodcraft shelves that Joel, Annie's father, made for us. And then in 2017, we've gone a full-out 20-foot by 20-foot custom booth that we'll be using more regularly in the future. And of course, there are much older, more basic booths that we've had in the past, but these are just the pictures I had access to. So a lot of work gone into updating and freshening our Baby Banana brand and look. A little bit about customers. Our largest customer is called Western Baby, and they are located in China, and they comprise about 29% of our revenue. Amazon is our second largest customer, making up about 22% of revenue. And so, a couple interesting stats: 61% of revenue, basically 61% of sales, come from less than 1% of our customers. And 73% of revenue comes from less than 2% of our customers. So this is important for us to know, to see that there is a lot of concentration in very few customers. And that's a risk to the business and something we want to diversify. So we are putting a lot of effort into diversifying our customer base as much as we can domestically and internationally. We've specifically been targeting Europe this past year, and we'll continue to in 2018. We've picked up a distributor in the UK that's helped us expand there and into France and Belgium, called Prince Lionheart. We've also had recent activity in other countries in Europe. Going to the trade show in Germany was a big help, and we'll probably attend that again one more time just to give one last push. And we're doing other promotions to help stimulate growth there. Probably another year before we really fully realize what kind of growth potential we have in Europe. Domestic retail and distribution channels are plateauing more, and so growing the business through other methods becomes really important, such as research and development. So this is another big way we hope to grow our business. Really the primary focus for growing our business. A really important fact or statistic is 87% of our revenue comes from just the infant banana brush, the banana brush with handles. So that's scary to us and is a risk. And if we had one major problem with that particular brush, it could ruin the whole company. So we put a lot of effort into protecting ourselves legally on that particular product, but we also need to expand our product line to help diversify and spread this risk across more products. So product development is essential. We are expanding our product development efforts. We've contracted with an engineering firm here in Salt Lake that has done a lot of help there with us. You can see the fruit teethers on the right there. Troy designed the strawberry, and then they designed, this new firm in Salt Lake designed the pineapple and grapes. We're also working with this engineering firm to design a jellyfish teether toy, which will come out in 2018. And we've got other products in the pipeline, things that we're interested in doing as quickly as we're able to make them, as we can afford them, and as we have the resources to launch them. But we're also definitely open to suggestions. If anybody has suggestions on product development, to please let us know. We're always interested in hearing. Challenges in product development. Right now, we're really facing a struggle on, do we make them in the US or do we make them in China? There are advantages and disadvantages to both. So that's a balance we're always playing, and we're probably leaning towards prototyping in the US now, just because of counterfeit issues and problems related to counterfeit or copies, made in China. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Getting into our legal status. So this year was a little bit quieter year than the last year. Legal expenses overall were down significantly from 2016. We won some great lawsuits, important lawsuits in China, where our biggest customer is. But this company that we have sued or countersued is appealing, and so it's really an ongoing process that could last another year or 2 years. But we're making progress, which is great. We've also hired a company to monitor online counterfeit listings from dozens of websites, and they have connections that they can go and take those listings down for us. So that has really been a help in controlling the counterfeit issue that we face. In the U.S., we're facing a real potential legal risk with the company Newbie. Newbie has copied our banana brush before, and the customers actually buy their brush and think they bought a baby banana brush and confuse it. So that's a problem for us. And we just found out that Newbie also copied our fruit teethers. And they actually made copies and launched them before we were able to bring ours to the public. And the only way that we think the only way that could happen is that our prototyping that we did in China, at that manufacturer in China, they gave the engineering drawings and ideas to Newbie directly. So that's a big reason why we're trying to avoid working in China. So right now we're just really trying to ignore Newbie and hope we can outsell them, because they have very deep pockets. They're a very litigious company, and we don't want to get into a lawsuit with them that could cost $500,000 or so. So we'll hopefully can avoid them, but it's a really unfortunate situation. Here are a couple pictures of our products. The banana brush on the left and the smoothie soothers on the top right, and then the Newbie knockoffs that you can see are very similar. Getting into some of the numbers towards the end here. So total units sold per year over the last 5 years. You can see relatively nice growth over that time period. These are just all the brushes that we've sold, the total number of units each year. But it's trending upward. We saw a really strong increase in 2014 to 15. That's not typical. And after that kind of growth, it's typical to see a big slowdown, but it's nice to see now that even after that rapid growth, we are still growing again. But you can see that the rate is a little bit slower than in previous years. So it's important that we continue to find new markets and produce new products to keep that trending upward. In the next slide, we look at our year-over-year revenue growth. So I mentioned in our business strategy that we have a goal we're aiming for of about 15% year-over-year growth. And looking at this, you can see each year we're kind of all over the map here, all over the place. And basically the takeaway here is that we're still a young company and we're quite volatile. Some of these growth rates are fantastic, but they're also unpredictable historically. And I expect that going forward, we'll see revenue growth in the range of 5 to 20%, depending how things go. Probably won't see any more spikes like those in the 70s, but that's to give you an idea of kind of our history on revenue growth. The next slide, monthly revenue versus expense. So the top line is our total revenue. So it's basically from all the products we sell that we get money, that's that line, how much money we take in. The dots are the actual data points, and then the solid line is a kind of a polynomial trend line to fit that data. The black line, the next one down, is our cost of goods. So we have to pay people to make the banana brushes, and that's how much those goods cost. So you can see in comparison to the revenue, and it is typical, you'd expect to see the cost of goods to match the trend line or the data from the revenue received. The next line down is our personnel expense, and then The next one below that is the general and administration, so that's like overhead, rent, and things like that. And then the bottom line is our marketing expense. And kind of the takeaway here on those bottom three expenses is we're happy to see that over time we see our revenue growth, our revenue growing, but at a faster rate than our expenses. So we like to see that separation. Our personnel, marketing, general administrative expense are not growing as fast as our revenue. Next is our net operating profit margin. Just in a simple explanation, if we look at this last year, our profit margin has been about 15%. So that means if we've earned $100, we've spent 85 of it, and we have 15 in profit left over. And with that $15, or the 15% profit, we have to pay tax liability. There are uses for it. We can use it to reinvest in the company. That's where product development and things come from, and it can go into paying down debt and paying dividends and things like that. So that's where that 15% profit margin is used. In 2018, looking forward, just kind of a recap of some of the things I mentioned. We hope to really mitigate risk and stimulate growth through developing new products and through expanding our markets, going to more trade shows, domestic and foreign, finding more customers in other industries like pharmacy or in other countries and things like that. We really are going to continue our efforts to drive down counterfeit sales. We want to begin establishing a rainy day fund and line of credit funds so we can weather downturns, prepare for potential legal battles. Who knows what will come with newbie in the future, and so on and so forth. And an exciting note, Baby Man has effectively paid off all of our debts in 2017, and so we want to continue to be debt free and be able to finance our own operations going forward. And that's it. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions, ideas, comments. Email me anytime. I'm happy to talk one-on-one with anybody, or we can get on the phone and talk. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks.